Well, good morning, folks. Pete with you. But what a week of weather we had up here in northern Vermont. Holy cow. We went through a stretch where we didn't get above zero during the day. And I'm going to spin this around. And I left my leaf blower in the back of the bed of the truck. So it's been there for about a week, and I'm curious to see, it's a Milwaukee leaf blower. I'm curious to see how the batteries held up being out there for a week in all this frigid cold. And the reason we need it is because we got about a foot of snow out of this last storm, and I need to go down to the barn area and I need to blow the tractor off and try to get it started. And if we can get it started, then we got some plowing to do. We got quite a bit of snow. It's nice and light and fluffy, but so it'll be easy to move. But yeah, it's been quite a week, and things came to a screeching halt in terms of doing work outside. I managed to get out fat biking twice. But you generate a lot of heat when you do that, so you don't get too cold except for the fingers and toes. So other than that, we've been kind of cooped up. So we're going to go grab that leaf blower out of the truck, which reminds me I need to go get the key for the truck. We're going to get the leaf blower out, blow the tractor off, see if it starts, because the temperature right now is only about 3 above zero. When I got up this morning, it was around 7 below. So we'll see how the tractor does. I've never had a problem starting it before, but I've also never started it in this cold weather. A lot of times it sits here in the garage and it stays, I think the coldest I've ever seen it here in the garage. And it's not heated, it's just pretty well insulated. It's about 25 degrees is about as cold as it gets in here. So we're going to do that. We're going to see if we can get that going, see how the batteries are in the blower, and we'll let the tractor warm up, and then we'll get to doing some plowing today. Stay tuned. All right, here we go. Oh boy. Yeah, we got our work cut out for us. Oh yeah. You can see there. It's a solid 12 inches here, I would say. Maybe a little more even. It's been windy, so it's probably drifted some too. Like the truck only has a couple inches on it. Let's see if this is gonna open up for me. Yep. So, here's the blower. Works like a champ. This is the dual battery setup. Let's see what they say. They shouldn't be full because I've been using it, but 2 and 3 bars, 3 bars each. That's about what it was when I put it in there a week ago. So I'm impressed. This thing really holds a charge. All right, let's trek down to the tractor and start cleaning things up. All right, let's trek down there. You know it's cold when I break out the Arborwear, this Arborwear sweatshirt. This thing is the warmest piece of clothing I have. It's amazing. So, and you get used to the cold when you live up here, but not when the wind chills get to the -20s and -30s. I don't think anybody ever gets used to that. Maybe if you're in Alaska, you do, I don't know. So there's the tractor down there. I have the snow pusher on it already. Oh, slippery. These hills don't look as steep on the camera, but yeah, I'm sliding down this hill. And we definitely have some snow to clean up, don't we? Look at that tractor. Yeah. Normally, like I said, I don't leave it outside, but I really didn't have a choice this time. So let's see if we can blow some of the snow off it. Ooh, the battery. I can hear the bearings in this thing. I can tell that it's not blowing with as much force as it normally does. Probably the bearings are a little tight. Yeah, that ain't good, because the batteries are still good. It's just, I think those bearings going from super cold to heating up with the high RPM this thing runs at. Oh boy, it is cold. I think we got most of it. All right, let's see. I'm gonna set this down here. And we'll hop in the tractor. Gotta unlock things first, but let's hop in and see if she'll start. I've had some troubles with this thing, but starting has never been one of them. I'm seeing more and more videos online of people that have had issues with their Kiodis, and I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I've been holding myself back and not saying that much about the problems I've had, just because I thought at some point things would get resolved. But I was just told by the Kioti US service manager that Kioti is no longer putting any resources into resolving the issue that I have. And unfortunately, that is not good for me. Woo. Yeah, it's cold. He's never made those noises before. There, it's quieting down. We're gonna have to let this thing run for quite some time though before I start moving. So, I'm pretty impressed. She started good. I'll be back when we're ready to move. First, listen how smooth that's running already. It's only been running for about a minute. And yeah, it sounds pretty good. On the inside, you can hear things internally that are still a little angry, but for the most part, sounds pretty good. Now let's just let her warm up for probably another 15 minutes, I'm saying. In 15 minutes, I'd like to get that temperature gauge up to normal operating before we take off. Well, it's been running almost 10 minutes now, and the gauge is up a couple hash marks. I'm feeling some a little bit warmer air coming out of the vents here. Yeah, it's starting to blow a little warmer air. We're getting there. Okay. Well, I got my plowing partner Maisie in the cab with me now. We just came up to the house. I think we're ready to go, Maze. I'm gonna close the door because no sense letting all that cold air in the garage. And then we'll start our work. Okay. Boy, we do have some snow. Holy moly. Yes, sir. This is the most snow I've plowed this year. By no means is it the most I've ever plowed, but this year's just been so cold that we haven't gotten a ton of snow, but what snow we've been getting, we never lost, really, so it's been accumulating. We had one little warm-up. I'm going to leave that for now because I think this is going to be a 2-pass plow for sure, especially where I'm having to back drag because the snow's way deeper than that back drag bar. Packing down the snow a little bit where I'm driving over it, but it's pretty dry, the snow. It's very fluffy and light, so I'm sorry, Maisie. So it shouldn't pack down too bad. I just love the job this thing does. It does such an amazing job. I'm talking about the box scraper, obviously, but it's impressive. Those snowbanks are hard as a rock right now from the previous plowing. Still a lot of snow up on the roof, you can see. Wow, yeah, those snowbanks, There is no give in those snowbanks right now. I guess that's as far back as they're gonna go. I used to push this snow right across the road and over the bank. I think I mentioned this in another video, but what happens is it's fine the first time you push it over the bank because the snow's fluffy and it, you know, goes right through the fence and on the other side. But once that snow pile gets a little bit of thaw or a little moisture in it, and then it gets cold again, it gets really, you know, it's like a block of ice. And the next time you go to push snow, if you move it at all, it can damage the fence. So I pretty much gotten away from that. It's a lot faster, but now I just push it up the sides of the road. Alrighty. Okay, that's good for ours for now. Now we'll go over and do my mom's. Hi, Maisie. Hey, girl. Maisie. She loves it down there. And I'm glad she does, because she's a great companion. All right, let's tackle Oma's driveway, huh? So interestingly enough, I knew I wasn't alone with the problems I was having with this tractor, but what's pretty cool is I just found somebody that lives in upstate New York, which is just across Lake Champlain from us, and he bought a NS 6010. And apparently he's had all kinds of problems with that. And sounds like without any lawyers or without even any mediators, they reached an agreement where they were going to take the tractor back. So I'm kind of in this predicament right now where I've been wanting Kioti to take this tractor back. This is my second one. So in 2022 I bought a DK6010, and that's a lot to push uphill, but it's doing it. So I bought a 2022 6010 and had troubles with it from day one. And it was a pretty serious problem. There's a problem in the main hydraulic system that it felt like it was cavitating, meaning there was air in the system, and it was sending shock waves through the tractor transmission, and you could really feel it when you were using the loader. And it was quite dangerous when I was using my forks, because if I was trying to unload something from a truck or something, it was jumping like crazy, and I scared a few people on the trucks that came to bring me things, thinking I was going to drop stuff or dump it or whatever. And so the 2022 model, my dealer, I got to give them credit. They tried fixing it. They did a lot of work to it. It was up there multiple times, and I'm not going to mention the dealer, but you know, they did what they could. I'm not upset really with them at all. They tried to fix it. They tried to follow everything that the manufacturer recommended them to do to fix it, and they weren't able to. There's a person within Kioti factory that's in charge of all service in the US that they put me in contact with directly, and you know, I worked with him some to try and figure it out. You know, I was trying to tell him every time it would get really bad, I would tell him exactly what I was doing with the tractor. We had a lot of different communications back and forth, and I thought, well, you know what? So maybe it's, you know, a one-off problem, and I'll do what I can to help them diagnose it. But then 2 years had gone by, and it was still doing the same thing. And at that point, I told them, you know what? I really want a new tractor because, first of all, I'm a little concerned about all these massive shocks that are getting pumped through the entire transmission and hydraulic system when it was cavitating like that. Especially if I had a heavy load on the loader, it would shake the whole tractor to pieces. So you know, my dealer went to bat for me with the factory, and first they said no, we're going to try and fix yours. And I said, well, it's been 2 years, and you know, I bought a brand new tractor so that I'd have a tractor and not have a tractor that was in the shop all the time. So nice. So after going back and forth with them for, I don't know, a couple of months, my dealer called me and said, Pete, you know, the cost of the new ones have come up $3,800. If you want to do a swap, we can do a swap for $3,800. So I told them that I already bought a new tractor once, and I don't feel I should be paying anything to get a new tractor. And of course, that took another month or so for them to chew on, and that's not my dealer, it was all the factory. But you know what, eventually they agreed. So that's how I ended up with this 2024 model. And this next piece of information is gonna make it perfectly clear as to why I want to get out from underneath this one, because now I know it's not a one-off problem, because this one has the exact same problem that the last one did. So Kioti engineers came up with they called it a fix, I called it a band-aid, where they said they're going to put this electronic hydraulic pump. Be careful I don't whack anything here. They came up with an electrical hydraulic pump, and they told me they were going to install it on the, let's see, put this on pure defrost. They were going to install it on my tractor, and I said, okay. This was the first one in the US, I guess, that got it. And it didn't work. Even though it was a band-aid, it still had similar systems. So they ended up coming up with a larger one, and they said, let's put this on there and see what happens. They called, said it was fixed. It wasn't fixed. The symptoms were better, I'll give them that. It was better, but it wasn't fixed. So, you know, they told me to give them some time to continue troubleshooting, and trying to resolve the issue, come up with root cause. And I said, well, I'd rather have a root cause fix, obviously, and understand what's going on than this Band-Aid pump that you just put on it. So I didn't hear anything for 6 months, and I just kept using the tractor. And I'm sorry, I'm saying too much. I know I do that a lot, but so just thinking about multiple things at once here. Doesn't that thing do a nice job though? Just look at that. Cleans all the snow up without pulling a lot of the gravel up, but just does a great job. So to make a super long story, not quite so long, they put the second pump on, told me it was fixed. I brought it home and it was horrible. It was like worse than the first one initially. And it was weird when I turned the key on to let the glow plugs warm up, I didn't hear that electric pump going. So I called them and I said, I think the electric pump may have gone, or maybe, I don't know where you're getting your power from for this thing, but maybe there's a fuse or something, but it doesn't sound like it's working anymore. So they told me where the fuse was. There was supposed to be a 10 amp fuse on it because they tied into where it got the power for the preheater on the fuel. So apparently what happened was that morning when I started it, the preheater turned on, the glow plugs turned on, and it tried turning on that electric pump all at the same time, and they left the 10 amp fuse in there that was in that circuit without that motor on it, or that pump. So it ended up, it had blown that fuse. So I called the national rep back and I told him, and he says, oh yeah, they should have changed that to a 20 amp. So I said, okay. So I came out to the tractor, I found the fuse, and I'm like, jeepers, I don't know if I want to double it because I don't know if the rest of the wiring in this system is able to handle that much current, and I still want the fuse to be the fuse. So I tried a 15 and it hasn't blown since. So at least the pump's working again, but the issue is the tractor's still not fixed. So this guy over in New York just made a settlement with Kioti. So I contacted the Vermont Attorney General's office and also the Vermont Consumer Protection Agency, and of course I kept track of all my text messages back and forth, my voicemails, everything. I kept all that, documented it. I sent it all to them, and they said that there's no lemon law in the state of Vermont for agricultural or off-road vehicles, but that this was a classic case that the Vermont Consumer Protection Agency would certainly step in and contact Kioti if need be to have them buy the tractor back. So I said, well, let me try and reach out to them myself first. So I emailed them at Kioti Factory, and I also emailed the National Service rep that I'd been in contact with many, many times. He knew who it was, and told them that I was interested in a buyback program. I no longer wanted the tractor. And I never heard back from either of them. So that was a little upsetting. So anyways, the last communication that the national rep did give me said they were not putting any more resources into this problem. So that told me there that I was stuck with this tractor that I don't want to sell to anybody because I know it has an issue. Some people would probably hop in it and take it for a 10-minute spin and not realize what was going on, but I just couldn't do it. But now that I know that this guy was able to make a deal with Kioti, and he said he didn't need arbitration, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach back out to my dealer and point him in the direction of the video that this other guy made, because he and I chatted back and forth. I told him about the problems I had, he told me about his problems. We've been in communication back and forth, and so now he's saying they reached a deal. He hasn't actually gotten the check yet. They haven't come and picked the tractor up yet, but he's already got his John Deere picked out because he's abandoning Kioti. And as will I've got my eye on a Kubota MX series tractor. I just need to get rid of this one first. So I'm going to reach out to my dealer, explain to him everything that's been going on with this other guy, and that Kioti directly and this other guy from National Service Area refused to respond. So now that I'm gonna look to them to resolve this. And I certainly don't expect all my money back. That's not reasonable. I've been using the tractor, but I did try to trade it in, and they offered me, it's a 2024, mind you, they offered me less than half what I paid for it. And I think that word is out that some of these tractors have this problem. And of course, if someone comes in to trade almost a new tractor like that, they're probably, even though they had someone come and start the tractor, they ran it around my house for a while, maybe he noticed it, but half the price of a new one is not acceptable to me. I shouldn't have to spend another $30,000 to replace my tractor. So anyways, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go through my dealer this time. I'm hoping they'll stand up for me. You know, between myself and the other guy I do the dirt work with, we've spent on excavators and skid steers and attachments and stuff, we've spent probably close to $500,000 in the last 4 years, 3-4 years up there. I'm hoping he'll go to bat for me. And if he does, you know, maybe I'll buy another excavator from him. You know, that's a possibility. But I'm definitely not buying another Kioti product. And I know there's a lot of people out there that love their Kiotis. It's done everything I've asked it to do. It's just that it's had problems. And I work it a lot. You know, this is a 2024. I've got over 600 hours on it already. So I'm just worried about all the seals, the transmission, my hydraulic cylinders. I'm worried about what all this high pressure thumping and banging that's going on is doing to my entire tractor here, and I just don't have confidence in longevity with it. So enough of a rant here, but that's the plan. I'm going to try and reach out to my dealer now and see if they'll take it from here. And I will definitely report back, because I'm hoping that they will. You know, for all the people, and I know other people that have Kioti tractors. That was one of the reasons why I bought this. I had a Kubota before this that have Kioti tractors, and they love them. And, you know, and nothing against Kioti as a whole. I know there's some bad ones out there with anything you buy, but how you respond to your customers is what separates a good company, I think, from a mediocre company. And the fact that they abandoned me and essentially said I'm on my own here, really, that's not a company I want to do business with again. You know, even if they gave me another one and it was fine, I wouldn't do it. I'm going to go back to the brand that I never had any problems with and I had good support on. And so that's the way it goes. That's the way the things work. So anyways, we finished up Mom's driveway here. Looks nice. One left to do. Got to do the barn area, and then I'll do my walkway area quick. And then we'll call it a day. So that whole rant I just gave, I've been waiting 2 years to say anything on my channel about it, because I don't know, I hate saying anything bad about anything, anybody's product or anything, but now that I found out from this guy that lives not too far from me that they were able to reach an agreement, that I don't see why they wouldn't reach an agreement with me now too. If they've got any customer service at all, I think that's what they'll do. I'm hoping they will. Because that will determine, like I said, whether I do any more business with that dealer or not. And we buy and sell heavy equipment for our business. So Like I said, everything else we bought. My first Mini I bought from them. The 145 Hyundai, the HX 145 we bought from them. Our ASV skid steer we bought from them. The Diamond mower for the skid steer. The hammer, I mean, you name it. We bought a lot of stuff from them. So if they want to keep our business, that's what's going to happen. Okay. Cars coming. Tell you, with this snow pusher on the loader, you can stack snow really high with it. I'll have to put a link to the video of the guy that I was telling you about that went through the same thing with Kioti as I am. I'll put a link to that. He's got several videos on it, but I'll put a link to the two that I think are probably most useful for anybody else that might be having any trouble. This 7-foot pusher, it doesn't take long to clear an area like this. What's the matter? Easy, you don't like that when it bangs around, do you? Okay, I think that's good. Just gonna run up to the house and we'll do the walkway quick. I need to push these back a little bit more. Right here at the entrance. That should keep the snow from getting pushed back in there. Looks good. So let's go up, finish the top of our driveway, do the walkway quick, and then Maisie and I are going to go for a walk in the snow. She loves running around in this snow. I think I'm going to clean this up a little bit more too. The end's cleaned up good, but doing it like this, it won't go over the top of the blade. And both the back drag blade and the main cutting blade, they both are a 1-inch thick piece of rubber. So they both do a great job scraping away. Look at that. That's just awesome. And we're in late January, so there's been numerous plows, and I'm just still able to get this nice and clean. Beautiful job. I have a friend of mine that's buying a tractor. He's in the process. He's got a little Kioti, a little CK open station tractor, and he really wants to get one with a cab. So he uses the same Kioti dealer as I did. He went to them first to trade up to a DK series with a cab. And they offered him about $4,500 less than the Kubota offered him for the trade, which is totally ridiculous in my opinion, but hey, they just lost another customer because he said he's done with them now as well. We've got some nice flowers and stuff now in a flower bed we put in straight ahead here on the other side of the steps. So I used to just push it this way and pile it, but I don't dare do that anymore now that we have those nice flowers in there. So we'll back drag this all the way out here. And then we'll push it out into the grass a little bit. I think that'll probably work better. Much better. Okay, Maisie, we got it done, didn't we? We got it done. I wonder if I can push that bank back a little bit over here. I will say one thing about the heat and the AC in this thing, man. Whew. I'm running it at mid-temp right now, and it's still below 10 degrees. And I guess not. It's I get blasted out of here, and I've only got a long sleeve t-shirt on now. There, get all that snow off there. I know how we can get rid of that. I can use the, see if I can move it with the skidder winch blade in the back. It's doing a good job. Okay. That's better. Woo. That was close. good. Made myself a little spot back there for the tractor. Pull that in right there, back it in, and we're done. Still spitting a little bit of snow, but we're not supposed to get much accumulation, so let's back this in its spot, and that'll be a wrap. Like I said, normally I put this in the garage, but I've got my mom's car in there. Actually, and my wife's car, both are in there. My wife is visiting her father in South Carolina. And my parents are on vacation. So, since I've got their garage full of attachments, I told them I'd put their car in my garage, and I drive it now and then so that the brakes don't get all rusty and stuck when they're gone. But all right, folks, that's it. Got another plow done. Turn everything down here. And let's see. Maisie. Maisie, was that fun?
Huh? Maisie, is that fun? Did you like it?
She just sits right there and looks out the window. People walking by, cars going by. It's great. She loves it. All right, folks, thanks for watching. And I'll keep you updated on how things go with the tractor as well. Okay, have a good day, everybody.